Hello, everyone, and welcome to SmashBoxxTV Special Glass Blown Open Remix Edition. Tara Miller alongside Johnny V.
Just a typical Friday afternoon for us. I mean, this is what we'd be doing for a normal GBO, right?
I know, if we were in Emporia enjoying the action and all the other things, we would be taking it all in right now, but instead we're not, and we're here bringing you the action in a virtual sense. And we've seen so many great things from Robert and Bobby Brown and the rest of the crew over at Dynamic Disc in terms of their virtual week. This has even a very different twist to what they've been doing.
They've been trying to recreate GBO to the best of their ability on Zoom or on the internet. They've done a lot of fun things. A digital fly mart is coming up, I believe. Maybe that happened earlier. I'm losing track, but I know they've done a lot of different video stuff, a beer tasting, a hot wings contest. I mean,
player pack
reveals, and those getting sent out. And so, you know what? We want to recreate the play, because that's really what the GBO is about. It's about the players and the play with a lot of cool stuff surrounding it.
Oh, I thought it was about the Granada chocolate.
But that's a close second, Terry.
All right, well, just like as if we were there, we're going to bring in Robert McCall, who's going to join me. He's going to be calling the shots as we're going to recap and then look at this round that is quite the mashup over these last, 5 years of footage. Robert, first and foremost, welcome, buddy. How are we doing today?
Hey, man, doing well. Good to see you guys. Good to see all of you out there in the land of YouTube. Yeah, just sitting here in my house, excited to call some disc golf with you guys.
Now, this time last year, we were in the country club, thanks to the country club, who was for many, many hours, who have graciously played host to us from a media perspective, as well as, of course, the course itself and the play, and has really been the main venue. However, as we have this remix, Johnny V cut up shots that were seen at the Glass Blown Open for these players over the last 5 years, and that spans a handful of local Emporia courses. I'm going to rely on you to keep it straight as to where we are, what course we're at, and what's going on.
Yeah, you got it. I think I've played them enough to know where we're at, but you know, we'll just use a cheat sheet if necessary. It's industry secrets. Don't tell anybody.
Yeah, don't tell anybody that I actually sent out a little cheat sheet, just letting Terry and Robert know what year and what course these players are at. Because
we remembered.
It's all up there. You don't need it, but I knew you wouldn't need it, Robert. I mean, it's for Terry. I mean,
yeah, true.
Yeah, if I only opened your emails once in a while.
Yeah, I know. That spam filter, that extra one. I know we have Opie, we have Jones East, and we have the Country Club in a few different configurations.
Wow. So what's going to be really funny and a little bit different than what we saw from Jonesboro when we did this 2 weeks ago. Jonesboro, minus a few course adjustments, we've seen the same course, the disc side of heaven. We've seen that course every iteration of the Jonesboro Open. With this, we might see Paul McBeth get challenged on, say, hole 1 at the Country Club. Well, Eagle, for instance, might be teeing off at Opie. So we're going to see how our various competitors and even the course conditions. Do you have any advice for all of our competitors as they're going into this, Robert?
Yeah, you're going to just want to plan for the easiest holes that you could pick from each of those years. If you could play those at the right time, that's probably going to be good for you. So think about it, guys. Good luck.
And now what we will do, as much as this is presented a new challenge, is they'll always be playing relative to par. So if someone's playing a par 4, someone else is playing a par 3, we're just going to go relative to par rather than the absolute score. So Johnny,
absolute score would not be very fair when you watch hole 18 at the Country Club versus hole 18 at Opie.
True.
Do you have a favorite course before we get into this, Robert? If you were to say, let's have a dream round with these gentlemen, maybe in real time, is there any one of these courses that you would dial in as your favorite?
Man, I'd love to see him play Jones Gold, just because we haven't had enough people on that course. We use it every year for the Lime Warrior Open that Derek Savory puts on as a fundraiser event, and then we just play it here and there throughout the year. But I want to see what big dogs throw on that course, especially when it's got OB lined, and it's pretty difficult for us. I feel like they would throw down something kind of crazy, and I was super excited about that. So if I had to choose that for this group, I would love to watch this foursome take on Jones Gold.
All right. Well, we're going to have to put that on hold for about 360 days probably. But we'll put it on hold, and hopefully you and I will rejoin in the studio, and we'll have the entire Smashbox crew and DD crew to put on the 2021 version of the Glass Blown Open. But for now...
Well, one of the things I wanted to bring up quickly is we are going to be doing some giveaways during this. During the last remix we had, we're fortunate enough to have such a great sponsor in skipace.com donate some of the gift certificates that were supposed to go out to our normally scheduled events. So we're going to be giving away some $15 gift certificates to Infinite Discs today. So probably break it up every 6 holes or so, come back, catch up, give away a gift certificate. So if you're tuning in right now, you do have a chance to win a gift certificate from Infinite Discs. So sit tight.
And I know I don't ask for it often, but please go out and not only like the link that you're watching this on, whether that's YouTube or Facebook or wherever, but also share it. And we're going to do most of our interaction with the YouTube crowd as we typically do. So if you want to reach out to myself or to Robert, or just want to talk among yourselves, the YouTube chat board is usually our best bet for that. We see Bobby Brown and so many others out there, including our partners over at Ace Run Productions and a few others. So thank you. And good news is, even here on Friday, 1st of May, the Super Chat feature is open and available.
That's
COVID-free.
Shameless.
It's COVID-free.
That is shameless.
COVID-free. All right, so I think with all of that being said,
hey, we're
man,
splitting those down the middle, right? Okay, sounds
unemployed. Good. You might be getting a check. Somebody here, one of us three is not. All right.
Big time respect. Honest to goodness, I respect the game, Terry.
All right, Johnny, are we ready to go?
I think we are.
Number one.
Let's go over to hole number 1.
Here it is, folks. 2020 Glass Blown Open remix, and on the tee, Simon Lizotte. Now, Simon, of course, has the honors this weekend. He won the Jonesboro Open remix, so we figured we'd give him the honors here.
Yeah, hole 1 coming in at 1,135 feet. Simon's not really trying to bite off too much here, just throwing a safe hyzer, especially into that headwind. Anything that's kind of on the upslope of that hill should set up a pretty easy birdie.
You're going to notice a little bit of choppiness in a few of the shots because there was some bad signal early in some of our years with some of the equipment we had. But trust me, it's only a few shots. Sit tight through it if you happen to notice it.
Looks windy in Emporia today, Robert.
Looks like McBeth got the tailwind. Interesting shift of fortune for him. That makes this hole a little bit more attackable. 1,093 feet, and he's just absolutely smashing on a disc right here. That's if it's not 500, it's pretty darn close.
And also joining the card, our third up is JohnE McCray of Latitude 64.
Johnny knows slouch in the distance department either.
I should have called these guys to find out what walk-up music they wanted.
We'll just play it right now. And that's smooth from Johnny, just down the middle. Not a lot of danger as long as you don't leave something on hyzer too much. So, and that tall grass, well, it's not tall grass, but it's a little bit thicker grass. The golf rough over there will slow down any shots that have a really big skip off the fairway.
It looks as we're starting off here in the 2020 remix version. All 4 of our competitors all squared up playing at the Country Club on their opening hole.
Yeah, and Eagle always chose this hyzer for his opening tee shot. I like that play here if you've got the distance for it. When you can throw a hyzer 430, 450 feet, it kind of makes the hole easy.
Yeah, I feel like that's just the safest play. This is where his distance can get him into some unneeded danger. And so just playing a big wide hyzer and chopping up this hole in very manageable chunks is best for him.
Yeah, that's right. So Simon just throwing another hyzer there. A little bit short of the golf green, but that's going to leave him inside 200 for his approach, maybe even 150 or so. Johnny is in my preferred spot on this hole. On the left side of the fairway, it just gives you the easiest hyzer angle to go up over the hill. And it doesn't really feel like you have to push any trees or work the disc at all. You just throw a flat shot that hyzers out and you're in business.
So to expand on that a little bit, you would rather be where Johnny is as opposed to where McBeth is right now. Is that what you're saying?
I would personally, but I'm only ever playing this hole for birdie. Some of these guys can play it for eagle, and if they are, Paul's in a great spot because he's covered a lot of distance. He can really lean into this shot. But he's just chosen to play a flat hyzer as well. And yeah, being on the left side is fine. I would prefer to be a little bit more on the right after my second shot because you have a straighter approach to the green instead of having to throw over the golf green on your third. That's a pretty sweet gallery back there.
Yeah, everybody taking in this beautiful Friday afternoon. So glad they could join us.
It was nice of Emporia to come up with the vaccine.
Yes.
Just Emporia.
Yes.
That's right. That's right. That's what we're known for is vaccine development here in Emporia,
Leading edge
Kansas.
development in biotechnology, yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not for sweet Granada. It's not for having a Tyson planter dynamic discs. Vaccine development. That's us.
It's Emporia State.
That's right. Eagle smashing on his second shot. That's way up there. Finishing left. Yeah, I mean, great collection spot. 150, 180 feet. Pitch up to the basket for these guys.
And I don't want to downplay it, but it almost seems like a routine birdie if that's what you're setting out to do here. I know you said some of these players have the power to go after the eagle, but if they're playing it for a birdie, you would expect so many of these guys to cash in on one.
Yeah, that absolutely true. When we played Country Club Classic a couple of years ago, I'm by no means a big distance guy, but I carded the birdie every time I played it just because you just throw hyzer down the middle, hyzer over the hill, and then it's a routine approach shot at that point. So, yeah, if they want to play for the birdie, as long as they don't push it too much for eagle, should be a pretty routine birdie for these guys.
I don't think you could ask to be in a better spot from your Paul McBeth.
No, that's fantastic.
Beth throwing a zone, but it gets away from him and just barely stays in bounds. No, actually, over there with flags, yeah, it looks like he's out of bounds, isn't he?
Yeah, that was flagged off. And that's an uncharacteristic miss for McBeth. He's not prone to missing those kind of touch shots. Yeah, if I remember correctly, McBeth had some poison ivy issues with his right arm, and it looked like he had been working out substantially.
Yeah, as he just barely misses that. The wind continues to rip. Kale was just checking in on the group. I think he left his mini from playing it before.
Yeah, Johnny in for the nice birdie putt. Good to have the tailwind behind you there because the headwind can carry you into those bushes on the right side, and that's not where you want to be.
The wind subsides as Simon taps in.
Yeah, that's a bunch of good birdies. Rough start for McBeth there.
Yeah, I feel like the day before when we saw him in round number 2, he was just really trying to make up for that mistake. But today it looks like he's still struggling. All right, we move over to hole number 2. What's the play here, Robert?
Well, this is from the sidewalk on hole 2, and this is just to smash something around the left side of the tree that you see in screen, but not turn too much to get into the tree on the right side. That can end your chances at birdie quickly. This is back over at Jones East, hole 2, probably the easiest hole on the course. Johnny's not used to throwing so short, so he kind of overpowers it a bit. You know Simon's going to send it here. And this is a hole that's kind of drawn up for our power players. Just crush it out there, little chip forehand up the hill around the trees. Yeah, they're going to be in a good spot.
And McBeth is over here at Jones. As you said, hole number 2 there, coming in at 300 feet.
If I remember correctly, this was the year that Paul had what looked like an Adidas logo in the back of his head.
Yeah, I was going to say also it's great to see that Emporia moving forward with opening things up a little bit earlier, so McBeth was able to get a fresh haircut. I know some of the barbers in Georgia have been a big fan of that as well. So
that's right.
Good to see that he got in on that early.
Hey, it's serious, man. You can't let it get too long if you're trying to, look fresh out there. And Eagle had found OB on this multiple times. Just too much power when you throw it so hard that you turn it over every time. There's not much you can do about it. Simon definitely in a more manageable position. Hyzer around the trees. Yeah, that's how you draw it up there.
The JohnE McCray on the bag with Johnny here. And she's been out there, almost every event for the last 4 or 5 years?
Yeah, it sure seems like it. They're almost always matching. You love to see it. Oh, the iron unkind keeps Johnny out of the basket there. Good looking putt. So this is McMahon to save his par after going OB on his drive. And that's a little bit of a tricky putt back uphill into the wind there.
So
McBeth in for the easy birdie.
Yeah, he answers and negates his woes on hole 1. Meanwhile, Eagle, a little bit of struggle here on hole number 2.
Yeah, that's going to bring him back level with McBeth. JohnE McCray is going to remain at 1 under, and then Simon, easy 2 for 2 to start here.
Simon has the momentum being the previous champion at the Jonesboro remix.
Yeah. All right, we move over to hole number 3, and Simon's at the country club.
Yeah, he's eyeing up this big hyzer out and around the right side. You have to carry all the way back over to the sidewalk in the air to ensure you get the skip needed. Simon has done exactly that. That's perfectly played. Huge risk reward on that hole.
McBeth getting a little chilly. We see he's added a layer.
The weather
with a tailwind here. Right. With a tail, that's right. That's what we're known for here. Vaccine development and predictable weather. With a tailwind here, as long as these guys get the disc up high in the air, getting back over to the left shouldn't be a problem for them. McBeth has not gotten the disc high in the air. He needs this to travel left and quick.
No, and it does not fight back, and he's going to be out of bounds relatively early in the fairway.
We'll join Eagle over at Opie Lake, one of our more difficult courses in town, especially when the wind is up. And if you know Kansas, the wind is almost always up. Beautiful par 4 hole 3 here, 480 feet. Something straight down the middle will set you up for an easy shot over the water OB here.
And that looks like it's out of bounds after the tree kick. Finds himself on the left side, but JohnE McCray is over at the country club. These guys are really practicing their social distancing.
That's right. Hey, look, you guys go play this hole. I'll play this hole. Just say what you got. It'll be fine. Just a bit low for McCray there. That's going to leave him in layup range.
Yeah, he just barely clipped that branch, and it took all the momentum out of it.
Of course, we have to recognize and thank ValueNet Fiber, who have been so kind to us throughout the years at the glass blown open.
Good looking approach from Eagle. That should secure his par 4. Speaking of ValueNet, we talk about them because they're a sponsor. The house that we live in here was wired for a different company. So we just went with that company when we moved. And we switched over to ValueNet this week. And I'm telling you, the difference is real. That's unpaid advertising. We are enjoying much better internet now. So it's true. Thank you, ValueNet.
McCray is short. It feels like this hole comes out to bite players really quickly by just being over aggressive. Now we saw McBeth, who just never made it back in bounds. Sometimes when you're a little bit short, we see people fly over the basket and have a kind of a longer uphill putt when they come back. But I guess I'll shut up now. As Simon's making it look easy as he walks away with a smirk on his face.
Yeah, that's a rare two on that hole. Always playing is one of the most difficult holes relative to par. 489 feet downhill. Probably plays closer to 410 or so, just because of the steep downhill, but controlling the angle all the way down is difficult. Eagle's going to collect his par 4 there. Johnny left to clean up his par here.
And wow, through 3 holes, Simon Lizotte off to a great start as he sits 3 under par. JohnE McCray sits 1 behind him. McBeth sits at +1, and Eagle remains at even.
Hole 4, 402 feet downhill. Simon's just let a huge hyzer go. Caught a tree that might have kept him from going out of bounds there. Big shot. He's got a good look at birdie. JohnE McCray going huge on hole 4 here at Jones East. Oh, yeah. Fantastic spot. He should have a pretty easy approach from there.
Looks like the card finally cleared in front of him. Paul was waiting for McCray's drive to land.
So McBeth here actually playing the course out of order, moving over to hole 6 Country Club. Current
he
hole
doesn't
6.
get penalized.
That's right.
Now, this used to be our hole 4 back in 2016.
Yes, correct. His competitors didn't know he was playing in the future at the time. Eagle looking as if he's asking, are you not entertained? But maybe also a win check, hard to say. Big downhill hyzer for McMahon. Nearly skips it in, but instead skips it OB, as is the danger on this hole if you come in a little hot.
And if there's any place to go out of bounds on this hole, right next to the basket behind the pin there is not a bad place to be.
Absolutely.
McCray with a very easy approach shot. McBeth got a little bit of a tailwind putt.
Mm-hmm.
Got really sunny out there for a moment.
Yeah, as if there was ever a doubt. Real smooth there from McBeth.
And Simon.
Oh, no.
How does he do that? He's been playing so well this round, and then he gets up and doinks the short one.
Yeah, to go 4 for 4 as well.
Yeah, and of all the holes to miss, I feel like this has been his easiest one with his best drive.
That's Simon for you.
That's the sort of hole. That's the sort of hole that Simon feasts on. I mean, it should be routine all day, every day.
Just like the consistency this round, I wonder.
Easy birdie for JohnE McCray there.
All right, we're going to move over to hole number 5. Lizotte still has the lead even after the missed short putt. And Lizotte's just loving the country club.
Now, the funny thing is Lizotte played out of order because ultimately Paul should have had the box on this one.
Oh, I assume a warning was given from McBeth over to
least.
Lizotte.
At least. Possibly a penalty. Hard to say for sure. McBeth just riding the sidewalk down the right side. Yeah, that's the garden. You want if you are going to get as far down as he did, you want to be on the right side because it opens up that hyzer. If you go too far forward into the trees, it's a much more difficult approach instead of just throwing a hyzer out around the trees on the right. And this is good work if you can get it here. Smooth forehand from McMahon, exactly in the spot you want to be, down on the right side. Easy hyzer coming up.
And McCray with a different par 4 here on hole number 5.
Yeah, this is an attackable par 4, 477 uphill, a reachable green for most of our top competitors. Johnny's just opted to play it putter to give himself an easy look at birdie.
My favorite is watching the different facial hair lengths of JohnE McCray.
Eagle taking his time here. You see the wind. That looks low. How much of a skip is it going to get? Oh, no.
Yeah, just the skip you're not looking for there. Nearly got him up to the basket, but that wind kind of kept the edge over and pushed it into the fairway OB. He's going to be putting for par 4 from there. McBeth opting for the low hyzer. Probably to mitigate the effects of the wind. If you put that thing up in the air, it's so easy to carry left out of bounds.
Simon with a very simple standstill approach and executed well. So Eagles not only contending with the wind that you're seeing right here, but also the gallery behind the basket kind of moving around on them. Looks like they've settled in.
Yeah, and McMahon opting for I think this is an MD5 that he's putting with. Very overstable mid-range just to fight the headwind there.
Simon able to calm his nerves after the missed putt on 4.
And McBeth taking just a little bit of extra time here. This isn't a putt you want to miss, especially with sidewalk OB straight behind.
Meanwhile, McCray's trying to make easy work here of hole number 5, setting himself up.
Yeah, that's routine. If you walk away with anything other than a 3 on hole 5, you're not feeling great. Unless you walk away with a 2, which is even better.
All right, we're going to move over. Simon, wow, still retains the honors. That's kind of a jerk move, but we'll see what happens. At 100 meters or 327 feet or so, that's just a hyzer shot for Simon all day long. Does it play that much longer uphill?
Yeah, it's definitely more uphill than it looks. When you walk up and see hole 6, 324, you're like, I'll just throw a nice, easy mid-range or fairway driver. And it's a shot. It plays well uphill for sure.
Now, this is McBeth going back to the same tee he played earlier today over on hole 6.
That's just a crafty veteran move.
McCray playing the wind and just deep of the basket. Flirts with the OB, but is behind the pin and inbounds.
Yeah, now with no wind here, this is a routine fairway driver for these guys, probably playing around 350 or so uphill. Maybe 360-ish.
Oh,
Oh,
and Lizotte. Looks like the extra rock back and forth didn't do it for him. He looks like he'll remain at 4 under. Meanwhile,
yeah.
McBeth has some low-hanging branches to deal with. He's down on his niche, outstretched to his right.
And this was back when hole 6 played as a par 3, an exceptionally long par 3. It was like 560 or 570 feet. So McBeth outdrove the hole there on that distance of hole. It's pretty good.
And for as windy as we've seen this round for the most part, it looks to be dead calm, at least where the basket and the flag are. We'll see if McMahon can take advantage of the the slight break in wind.
Yeah, being just inside the circle doesn't feel great for McMahon here. This is certainly one that you want to be closer to, but nearly dead wind. Oh, yeah, that's a missed opportunity for McMahon.
I think he was chasing a butterfly away.
Quit distracting me while I'm trying to make putts.
Meanwhile, McCray's got a considerable amount of wind, and that one is high and hits off the chain. No butterflies for him, though.
Yeah, just 25-mile-an-hour gusts, probably.
Everybody cleaning up for the star par.
Yeah, so through 6, Lizotte sitting solidly, 4 under par, playing well. Johnny not too pleased with his par there, but only one back of our leader right now.
Wow, and there we have it. As looks, we heard that there's a holdup actually on hole number 7. There's 1 or 2
That's
cars
real.
back up there. Yep. So we decided to come back to the studio, rejoining Robert McCall along with myself, Terry Miller, the disc golf guy, and Johnny V. And man, it seems like these guys are prepared for all the different conditions the course is throwing at them today, Robert.
Yeah, and that's what you have to be for Emporia. It's one day it can be beautiful, 75-mile-an-hour winds, make it just feel like the perfect day for disc golf. And then the next day it can be any temperature and extremely windy. So you have to bring all your backups. You have to make sure that your bag is ready for headwind, tailwind, crosswind, you name it. So yeah, preparation on these courses, it's well and good, but you may get here and play in totally different conditions than you'd anticipated.
And you know what we can do right now? We can do one of our giveaways.
What?
Yeah.
Nice.
Giveaways?
So what I'd like everyone to do on the board is type in the word windy, W-I-N-D-Y, windy. We will pick a name at random, and that person will win a $15 gift certificate.
Awesome. So do so, and that board being out there on the YouTube chat board, which is where our nifty little program will then pull from. So just type it in there once. Anything more than once will get ignored. So type it in, and our YouTube chat bot will go out there and do a little bit of work for us so that we can pull. And I got to admit, I'm a little bit hungry myself. I'll be stopping by Wendy's when we're done.
Well, the good thing is it doesn't have to just be on YouTube. I didn't want to correct you right away, but the system I have will check all of the different chats. I've got it right here. So wherever, whatever system you're on, go ahead and type the word windy, and we will make sure in a couple seconds here to go ahead and get this. So right now our scores are Simon Lizotte at 4 under, JohnE McCray at 3 under, Paul McBeth at 1 under, and Eagle McMahon sitting at even right now.
So Eagle off to a little bit of a slow start. Now, Robert, we've been seeing Eagle here again struggling a little bit, but do you remember back in yesteryear when we kind of saw Eagle for the first time, like on the main stage at this tournament? Do you have any recollection of that year and what we saw?
Yeah, I sure do. That was, I think it was one of the first years that I came to the GBO. I didn't play it at the time. I think I had knee surgery that year. So that would have been 2014, I think. And Eagle was 16, 17 years old. And yeah, I vividly remember him sitting up on the grass by what used to be hole 1's tee, which is now kind of near 18's basket. Excited about the day, but also nervous about what was going to happen. And yeah, I mean, he put on a show. Just, you could tell even from that time that he had immense talent and that he was only getting better. And yeah, he's continued to get better.
Yeah, and I feel like anytime we see a kind of a breakout star or someone have a breakout round, like we saw Eagle here, the question always becomes during the round and throughout the weekend is, can they maintain? Will they crack under pressure? Do they really, was their hot round a fluke in any way, shape, or form? Did they just get hot and everything went right for them? And are we going to see them, struggle during the next round or subsequent rounds or tournaments? And it was made very clear Eagle McMahon is here, and he's going to be a contender in every tournament he plays in from this point forward. And to me, I know we, for all these years, have talked about a GBO moment. I think back to the discovery for the world to see and experience Eagle McMahon for the first time. That has to be one of the single greatest GBO moments that I can think of in the last 5 to 6 years for sure.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. And then the same could be said for Simon Lizotte. This was one of the first big tournaments that he won. I will probably never forget standing near the tee when he unleashed. It was back when it was hole 7 or 8, which now plays around where a hole 8 plays. But there was a lot less OB, and you could just send it. And he was absolutely ripping shots out there. Coming up to win the GBO just a few years ago now. So the emergence of young stars we love to see. And then, sometimes we have I don't want to call it a surprise winner, but just someone that you probably wouldn't have bet on earlier in the week, like Cam Todd, who came out and played exceptionally well out here a few years ago. So yeah, we love getting to see new champions, people handle the win differently and conquer these courses that have humbled so many of us.
So many incredible stories. All right. Well, we're going to get back to the action.
Speaking of champions, real quick, we're going to give away that first $15 gift certificate to Casey Wolf.
Casey Wolf
on the YouTube chat. Congratulations. Reach out to us via Facebook or email if you have our emails. It's just Terry at Pro Disc Golfer or John at SmashBoxx.tv. But otherwise, our Facebook page is always open. And just let us know, and we can get you that gift certificate number.
Congratulations, Casey. Thanks for playing along. And we're going to get back to the action and check in with our players, get up to speed here. Robert will continue to call the shots, and then maybe a little later, I hear near one of the bathrooms or water stations, there might be another backup around hole 12 or 13 or so. So maybe we'll reconvene then. All right, but
Sounds
we're back
good.
with the action. These guys are live and on the tee, hole number 7, and Simon is pumped, riding some of that momentum.
Yeah, he's ready to go. This is a shot that these guys can just absolutely unleash on. Only 659 feet on this par 4, playing downhill for the first bit. Simon's in the garden. I mean, anything past that little ditch is in a great position. McBeth playing from a tee 10 feet farther from the basket, but a substantially more difficult shot through the trees here. Same landing zone is in mind for these guys, trying to get down there by that ditch. Looks like he might line up the big hyzer out and around the right side, which covers OB for about 90% of its flight.
Now, debating if you want to go outside of that tree or through that tree line, is that just the ultimate risk-reward? How smart of a play is that as we see McBeth landing in bounds?
If it's a crosswind, the disc can get up and get quite a ways over to the left. But if it's not, I find it really difficult to get high enough and with a disc that's not too overstable so that it can glide back over to the left side. I like playing down the middle here. The gap, it's really not that narrow, but it's enough to get in players' heads. Eagle crushing this disc. Yeah, that's a good spot as well. Once you get up by this line of trees, you'll have the choice to go around the outside with a forehand or just kind of straight up the middle with a backhand.
I feel like one of the mistakes that we see some players make is they get the nose up of the disc, so when it comes out of that tree line and then it starts kind of filtering over or just drifting off to the left side, it's easy to actually bring the sidewalk into play if you get the nose of the disc up. You really got to keep it, I feel like, flat and parallel to the ground, meaning it's pointed down just a little bit.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So Johnny, unfortunately, hitting an early tree by the short tee box, but then unleashing this shot. I went and laser measured the holes at Emporia Country Club just the other day, and from the short tee to the basket, it's like 550 feet. So Johnny just let go of about a 520-foot shot right there. Full flex, OB left and right. No big deal.
McBeth taking a little extra time. You see the wind is just ripping for him.
And that's low for McBeth. Yeah. Never with enough height to get up to the basket there. Simon is well past the ditch that we were talking about earlier, so this should be a fairly straight approach shot. Only thing to worry about are some low-hanging limbs. And Lizotte keeps the heat coming as he is inside 10 feet for his look at birdie 3.
It feels like he's just really dialed in today.
Mm-hmm. I like the way that Simon putts. It looks like he just throws it at the basket. Like he's doing a very short backhand throw, not like a different form. Ooh, good looking approach from McBeth. Maybe trying to make up for lost time with his forehand there, but he's going to have to settle for par.
And McMahon, who, as we said, has had a really slow start.
So this would be for the unlikeliest of birdie 3s for McCray here.
Where his drive equals his putt distance.
Come on, man.
Wow.
Come on.
JohnE McCray taking the birdie the hard way.
That's such an incredible 3. Simon taking the more traditional route to get the 3, but
and if we poke our heads out the window, Robert, they might see us actually inside the
clubhouse. That's right. Man, who knows how many hours we spent in that makeshift studio.
As McMahon taps in, and we're going to move over to hole number 8. Who knows where we're going? We'll see if the players all arrived at the right time. Simon's a little bit chillier, but we're heading over. Looks like we're back at Opie.
Yeah, and this is one of the holes that there's kind of a bunker set of trees in the middle. You need to throw about 410, 420 to get out in front of them. Simon's done that with ease. Eagle attacking the hole that brought many players to their knees. Hole 8, par 5 coming in at 990 feet. We saw numbers into the double digits from some players on this day. JohnE McCray not getting the stick that he wanted to. That's going to skip left OB, as is Eagles. But Eagles is way up the fairway.
Paul McBeth is wishing he was at 4 under par right now.
That's right. But he's got the easiest hole of the bunch right now. Hole 8 at Jones East. Downhill 370 feet. Should just be a straight fairway. And he gets a little tree denial right there, but he's still in a good spot to attack for his birdie.
This is McCray's third shot. Now, of course, there's still OB on the right, and that needs to come all the way back in.
Oh, but that's golden.
Beautiful shot. Nice whip around there by our cameraman, Chad.
Yeah, the difficulty on Johnny's shot is when you have the crosswind like they do, you have to push that sidewalk right to ensure that your disc doesn't skip too far left, because there's OB all on the left, and then once you get down by the trees, water OB. So you may not even get that disc back if you don't commit to the shot.
Eagle and Johnny, both unfortunate luck that they have to play probably the hardest hole out here, while the other two get relatively easy birdie holes.
Yeah, you're going to want to not play this hole in the wind or really ever if given the option.
Neither of them slipped me enough cash to bypass
Yeah,
it.
I was going to say.
That's right.
You know what we say at all the big tournaments? Damn you, random.org.
I wasn't aware that we said that, but now I'm going to start saying that.
We definitely do. I know that's what Eagle's thinking right now.
It's a common statement up north here in Wisconsin. It might not be down in Kansas.
And talking about just trusting your shot, trusting your instincts, because you're really just throwing that out there blindly and hoping that you've read the wind correctly and that some big gust doesn't pick it up and carry that into the OB. Our gallery is getting a little bigger out here on Friday afternoon.
Yeah, this is a massive gallery. One of my favorite pictures is from the Worlds that we did here of everyone kind of snaking down the sidewalk of what would normally be the next hole's fairway, and huge galleries here just seem to. I mean, they make everything better. It makes players a lot more excited to play. At least I think. And Simon has handled hole 8 with ease. That is not an easy hole, and he made it just seem like child's play.
McBeth, a little bit of distraction out here.
McBeth going with a straddle putt from an unobstructed lie. It's a interesting shot. I mean, it worked, but it's not how he normally putts. Oh, that's a little bit unfortunate for Johnny. That was a good-looking putt, just bounced out the right side there. It's a good par pickup for Eagle.
James was out here practicing. He's just getting a little practice round in. He's joined the group and trying to get things dialed in for next year. All right, we're going to move over to hole number 9. Lizotte still sits at 6 under, or now has moved to 6 under, and has a 3-stroke lead over McCray and 4 over McBeth. His teammate Eagle not putting up much of a fight.
That lead is going to dwindle just a little bit.
After that shot, I would say so.
That's a bit of a miss there from Lizotte. Actually, little known fact about James Conrad, he waits for the windiest days so that he can fully show off the extent of his hair.
Yes, okay. That is a pro move.
It's a power play. Hole 9 at Emporia, at Jones East. McBeth playing the big forehand outer on the left side. Going to set himself up for a good look at the green here.
This says hole 8 up at the top, but I believe there was a graphics issue. This is actually hole 9 for Eagle.
Yep. Par 3. Mm-hmm. Par 3. Right around 3, playing around 380 feet or so. Big hyzer. These players are looking to get as far down as they can just into that group of trees so that they don't have to worry about being obstructed by the 2 trees that are right next to the basket.
Yeah, and I would just say, as JohnE McCray laces that, sits down, that is a picture-perfect shot by McCray. And if I'd go as far as saying, if you're confused at this point by what's going on, then you're just not very smart. I mean, clearly this is the least confusing round of golf you've ever watched.
Yeah, come on.
I mean, duh.
So Lizotte from the drop zone. Tough spot to throw from, but he's given himself a good look. Johnny, huge Anheuser from the fairway.
I was thinking we might see a forehand by McCray.
It certainly shapes well for that, but when you're confident in throwing a putter, I mean, it's going to land a little bit more softly than something like a forehand might give you the danger of skipping into the woods there.
Now, McBeth with his approach shot looks like it doesn't quite get as much of a skip as he needed. Do you feel like that forehand off the tee is almost kind of a layup of sorts?
Well, yeah,
it seemed very conservative.
Sure, but there's not much else to do there. Unless you're going to go Simon and throw it all the way to the basket. Just finding yourself in the fairway sets up a makeable second shot for most players.
Wow. Incredible putt by Paul McBeth.
I'd say, if anything, the forehand is more of a safe play if you have it, so you don't have to worry about getting caught up early going down the middle.
Here's McCray for birdie.
Oh, just off the band.
I believe that's a bogey for Simon.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I was trying to think if that was Simon's first blemish of the round. And,
Yep.
other than the very short missed putt on 4, it looks like it is. So Simon's going to card his first bogey of the round as he dips down to 5 under par. And we're going to move over to hole number 10 halfway through the round. Looks like a great battle our remixers are putting together here.
Yeah, and hole 10 comes in at just under 400 feet downhill, plays probably closer to 370, shapes perfectly for a straight mid-range or even a slightly turned over fairway. And McBeth's just going to show you exactly how to do it. That is picture perfect from McBeth. McMahon forcing the disc over, a lot of angle on that. Wow, calculated. That's a beautiful shot from McMahon.
Meanwhile, JohnE McCray over at Jones East trying to penetrate the gap, and he actually goes deep of this one. I don't feel like you see that too often. I mean, it's very reachable, but getting all the way past and staying clean of that basket is not something you see too often, Robert.
Yeah, you're exactly right.
Weird flex
it's
by
usually
Simon to go back and replay that hole
Yeah.
from a different angle.
It's like, you know what? That downhill next hole, that's pretty easy. I'll just play this more difficult one. I like
Simon
the
making
change
some
here,
great
though.
adjustments.
Yeah. I like the change from Simon, making sure that he secures with a birdie instead of a bogey. Good play, Simon.
The rare remix mulligan rule.
McCray from behind the pin, and it just not on today. Comes up a little bit short. Certainly bias here, but the only thing I can ever think about when looking at hole 10 is thinking about the ace by Paige Pierce a few years ago during the World Doubles.
Yeah, just a perfect fairway flex line. I mean, couldn't have hit it more in the center. Easy birdie for McMahon after playing that kind of flex down the middle. Easy birdie for Lizotte. Easy birdie for McBeth.
All right, we're going to move over to hole number 11. Looks like the country club is going to be the hot place to be for these competitors.
I mean, this hole isn't that short, but it looks like McBeth barely threw that.
And
Oh, look at the...
What? What kind of skip is that?
I don't think world champ love is a thing, but that kick is making me question my thoughts on it.
I think that's the exact same thing you said when we watched this live.
That sounds like something I would say.
Not that this isn't live, folks.
Yeah,
No,
this is
yeah,
some
not
great
that this isn't happening right now. It's very real.
And a great adjustment. We saw Eagle, look to see what Paul was doing. It looked like Eagle decided to hang it out a little bit wider. So I like the adjustment there.
Simon once again going to the hole that his competitors just played.
Mm-hmm. Talk about playing catch up.
He's going to have a look from there, but it's probably 50 or so.
And that's going to need to stay right. What will the skip do?
Oh, look at that. Oh, what a shot.
Beautiful shot by JohnE McCray.
Simon from range knocking it down.
outside circle one, no problem. So he first to birdie, and the rest of the card are also looking at birdies. See if McBeth can continue the momentum.
Sneaks it in over there. McBeth should know by now, when you get a good kick like that, you better take advantage of the stroke it saved you.
And McCray, solid putt. He's going to take the birdie, and I think we're going to see a star frame here.
Our first one of the day.
Frame. Beautiful.
Hey, Ricky, this isn't time, man.
We just cut Ricky off. He likes to just practice putt.
Yeah, it was one of the Ricky challenges he's doing.
We're having a tournament, Ricky. Quit putting.
All right, McBeth here on hole number 12.
Yeah, he's going for the big forehand out around kind of that bunker tree that's in the middle of the fairway. Opie left in the fairway, Opie right on the right side of the trees. Yeah, that's good. Just drop it in there, real close.
See if McMahon has a totally different approach on a totally different hole.
Not going to do the same forehand Paul did.
No, that's weird. He's really changing it up from Paul's play. You'd think he'd get a wind read or something.
At Junior Worlds this year, I watched Zach Arlinghouse park this with a lefty turnover, and I thought, I will never be good at disc golf. It was just one of the coolest shots I've ever seen. Really tough hole for the lefties. He made it look easy. Eagle, of course, makes it look easy there.
And Lizotte trying to go up the middle, and
not happy.
Wow, throwing a little bit of a Lizotte tantrum.
Just catching that low branch on the bunker tree. Here is JohnE McCray out at Jones East, playing the hyzer over the water, one of the signature holes at Jones East.
Great to see JohnE McCray. Oh, sorry. Simon not good on the birdie. Now we'll see McCray from just inside the circle.
Yeah, elevated basket, and unfortunately he catches the band.
All warming up for a TikTok?
Known for his viral dances, McBeth warming up for a TikTok. Yeah.
I feel like that's one of the moves I've seen from him before, or my daughters. I'm not sure. As Eagles in for the birdie.
Simon in for his par there. And McCray, yeah, he's just going to drop in. That one feels like one got away from him, just hitting the band high on the elevated basket there.
Yeah, and again, it sounds like there's a little bit of a backup on 13, so welcome back. We've got Robert McCall along with Terry Miller and Johnny V. And Robert, so much excitement over the GBO week and the things and the activities that are taking place and everything that you guys have been working on. What are some of the virtual activities that are planned for tonight and over the next day or so?
Sure. So the rest of the evening, I'm going to have to pull up the schedule for you for tonight. I know for sure what's happening tomorrow. Tomorrow is what I think is going to be one of the coolest things is a virtual fly mart. So a lot of people who are planning on selling discs, who had special discs made for the event, they're going to have the opportunity to sell those. And that is going to start at 11 a.m. tomorrow morning. You got to check that out. Support the disc golfers and vendors who are going to be out there because, like you said, a lot of them they're out of work for the time being. They don't get to play tournaments. They can sharpen and hone their skills as much as they want to, but for the time being, that's kind of all for naught. We just have to sit at home. And so, show up to the virtual block party tomorrow starting at 11 a.m. Then tonight, we're going to have the virtual GBO tournament live finale. That's coming to you from Disc Golf Valley. If you haven't played Disc Golf Valley before, I love it. It's got its quirks. Sometimes you get spit outs that you don't feel like you should, but then sometimes you skip several hundred feet to the basket when you definitely shouldn't.
So it's just like golf. What are you talking about? Where are the quirks?
It's basically
exactly
disc golf.
like golf. Yeah.
Well, let's give away let's give away a $15 gift certificate to Infinite Discs right now. I want everybody on the chat to do the word Fly Mart. So while
Yes.
this $15 gift certificate will not be good at the Fly Mart, maybe you can negotiate with somebody. I don't know, but it will be good at Infinite Discs. So, but make sure to check out the Fly Mart. So it's Fly Mart, one word.
Type it into the chat, and as we'll give you guys just a few moments to do so. Yeah, and speaking of the Fly Mart, I think about, I'll use another hashtag GBO moment, last year specifically, and I know the Fly Mart has been such a staple at this event as vendors convene from all over the world and all over the country to be here to offer up their amazing wares and their goods, and having all this custom stamp and supporter and fundraiser and tour support discs. Last year, I did my best, and I hope if there's anyone I missed, well, then I'm sorry. I did my best to walk up to every single player, professional player, that had a custom stamped tour support fundraiser disc, and I went up to them and I bought one from every single one of them that I could, or that I ran into. If they had one, I got one. And that went as far as Alyssa Van Lannen. She had an Alyssa Van Lannen, AV Images disc, and I wanted to get one as well because I know we all need the support out on the tour. AJ with his waffle discs, and I remember getting Erica Stinchcombs, and just everyone. And I have an entire, almost an entire bin, it feels like, that were all discs that they all signed. And so anytime you guys can go out and support our players by whatever means of their special fundraiser discs, their tour support, whatever they're deemed within their company or realm, whether they're selling them in person or they direct you to a website, please go out and do so.
Yeah, and if you're looking for other ways to support players, one of the questions that we had in the virtual pro panel this week was, did the pro panel participants think that there's a need for Patreon pages for touring disc golfers and media people who are kind of out of work right now? Because they said, I want to support them, but I don't want to buy more discs necessarily. And if that's something that you're interested in, a lot of touring disc golfers do have Patreon pages. I know that you guys at Smashbox do. From firsthand experience, I've been a patron with you guys for a little while now. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, you can catch the link above Johnny's head there. But if there's a touring disc golfer that you want to support, you can either buy their personalized disc, their tour series disc, but reach out to them directly. Maybe this is a perfect time for them to be able to offer you a virtual lesson. That could be something that you benefit from and they benefit from. If they're putting out content like Simon is on YouTube, go and watch, like, and subscribe. YouTube monetization is not a small thing for these guys. And so if you really want to help these people out at this time, those are a couple of great ways to do it.
Yeah, and I'll just piggyback on that for one quick second. And this might be when things get back to normal. There can be also other innovative ways that people have helped me, have helped Smashbox, the disc golf guy, and you can help other players. And I think back to a number of people throughout the years that have said, hey, I know you're traveling to such and such city, and I have extra Wyndham rewards points, or I have extra choice hotels, or whatever the case might be, and someone says, hey, I can offset the cost of a hotel room for you for 2 or 3 nights. I know that sounds kind of out of the box, but those are all valuable to our players, to our media teams. So some people have been very gracious in that way. So just to give you another idea, if you don't want to necessarily get more discs, and maybe you don't want to necessarily just flat out donate to a cause of theirs, but you're sitting on 3 free hotel nights that aren't burning a hole in your pocket, that might be that gesture goes a long way with a lot of our people out on the roads trying to get by and make things happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, just another random idea. So quick, before we get back to the action, it sounds, my producer's telling me we're almost ready on the tee.
He's sitting right next to you, man. He's right there.
Darn, I was thinking I had a better looking producer. How can you quickly explain how the virtual Fly Mart will work? And kind of what the premise is tomorrow?
I've seen a couple of people do this. So from what I understand, it's just going to go in order of when you join, players are going to say, here's a list of what I have. And they've got their mold, their weight, and they're going to go through the comments as you join and just say, if someone says, can I have a 173 Lucid Enforcer with this stamp? Then they'll pull that off. put your name on that and set it to the side, and then do that until they're sold out of discs. From what I understand, a lot of the players have a lot of discs that they made for the event in anticipation. So it's unlikely that they'll run out, but if you sold them out, I can't imagine anything that would make them more excited, So that's basically how it's going to work, and it'll be really self-explanatory when you join the stream. Those will be live on the Dynamic Discs Facebook page. So be sure to check that out. Starting at 11 tomorrow, it'll go till about 6. So all during the day, you'll have plenty of time to buy some special edition stuff from players and vendors.
Awesome.
That's great.
Very cool. Make sure to check it out.
All right. Yep. But before we get back to hole 13, Steve Mattias, Mattias, off of Facebook, actually, you are our winner. Flymart, you went all capital letters, but it doesn't matter. Congratulations. You get the $15 Infinite Discs gift certificate. Please reach out to myself or Terry via Facebook, or if you have our email, you can do that. And I'll get you that gift code. I believe they're ready to tee on 13.
All right, Robert, sounds like we're back to the action. Let's see what's going on.
Let's do it.
13 at the 2020 Glass Blown Open Remix. Simon Lizotte with a narrow lead right now over Paul McBeth, who's been charging, and Eagle McMahon has really picked it up as he sits at 4 under along with JohnE McCray.
That's right, hole 13 here, 394 feet. McBeth throwing this uphill hyzer, and that's just not a committed shot from McBeth. You could tell he knew the release was a little early when he left the end of the tee box there. He's going to be on the left side, probably 60 feet, 50 feet from the basket, staring at Opie. Eagle with a smooth, flat shot, working back over to the left. Oh, yeah, that's in business. Fantastic shot inside the circle for McMahon.
A little bit of ground play.
This is pretty wide for Simon. That grass on the that grass on the right side of the path is extremely unforgiving, very grabby, does not want to let players go past, but it seems like Simon probably wishes he would have grabbed it a little bit as he goes about 90 feet long on this uphill 400-foot shot.
I hate when that happens. And
yeah, it's a problem for me as well. Usually that's where I end up. But
McCray getting a great wind read off the previous 3 shots and all but parking it. Simon feels like his putter has been pretty good today. Apparently he does have a range though.
Yeah, that's a tough spot to run it really aggressively with the OB behind.
McBeth to possibly tie with Simon.
Oh, come on.
He smells blood in the water. That's what he does.
Was he ever not making it? Like, come on, man.
Wow.
The guy, that's impressive.
He knots up with Lizotte after Simon had such a great start.
I apologize for the dogs out on the course. Usually we keep those out of country club, but showing up today.
Eagle for the birdie, and McCray hoping to answer a little bit high, but that one gets pulled in. That's a veteran basket, right?
Yes, sir. Pretty solid showing, 3 of 4 birdies here on hole 13. With no wind, we see a whole lot of birdies here. Pretty standard hyzer for these guys, but wind makes everything a little bit scarier. And Simon almost found the band there. It seems like he's counting his lucky stars that found chains instead.
He's going to run as quickly as he can away from that putt.
That's right. I'm out. Thank you for the catch basket. I'm out.
After the birdie by McBeth, he still has the honors.
And McBeth playing the air shot down the middle. And it's just kind of hard to explain how far that flew just now. Most players aren't quite cresting the hill that he just beat. I mean, he's in business. Huge forehand from McMahon.
Yeah, and I'll ask a question that I asked earlier is, do you feel
Sure.
like that forehand is somewhat of a conservative approach on such a long hole.
It can be. With the wind blowing the way that it was, I think Eagle could put that on a lot of hyzer and just let it push. But if you've got a pretty proficient forehand, it's not so much of a layup play because it's reachable in two.
And
Lizotte hammered that roller.
Yeah, and trying to get a little bit of a read off of what he just saw from McCray.
So yeah, for somebody who has a forehand like Eagle does, he can reach from here just with another forehand hyzer. So not so much a layup play for him, but for somebody like me or just kind of a regular player that goes out there, you're conceding birdie if you throw forehand.
We've seen a few iconic shots on this particular hole in the past. And Simon had
we have
the roller that went like 1,000,000 feet.
Yep.
We've seen Eagle put that in for Eagle
Yep.
on this hole with a forehand. Not this year.
Nope. That was in a different remix championships, I believe, where he did that.
Maybe
Simon's in a great spot here. And the branches on the tree have lost some leaves just for Simon to have a more open forehand here.
And that needs to sit down.
He's pushed it just a bit right, but that is safe inside the OB fence on the right side. And I'm not trying to make a huge deal about this, but that drive is way down there. Way down there.
And the other thing that we've noticed throughout every year visiting our hole 14 at the country club is the signal seems to be way down on hole 14. It's just one of those holes that does not always play well. It doesn't seem to be doing the same here during the remix, challenging us.
And maybe 2 feet too high for McBeth there to get all the way to the basket. McCray has caught the guardian tree. That's going to be right around 35 feet for him, looking at his birdie three. Oh, an eagle from range just low. That's a good bid.
One's got to think that McBeth is a little bit frustrated. He's lining it up, and he still cashes it in. That's a great birdie, but after having the crushing drive that he did, you have to think that his approach felt a little bit like a mistake or a little off the mark.
Absolutely. It feels like a miss, and it wasn't his eyes, but he capitalizes nonetheless. Simon unable to do the same, so he's going to concede the lead to Paul McBeth after 14.
Yeah, the outright lead by McBeth, and the wind just smashing that one down on Johnny, and Johnny a little frustrated there.
Ricky continuing to practice putt even though we're having a tournament.
Maybe his group has a backup at a different hole, and he just needs to stay warm.
It's the Ricky play along with you challenge. All right, we're going to move over to hole 15. Paul McBeth with a single stroke advantage over Simon Lizotte. Simon, who's really cooled off in the last few holes. And they both have a 2 and 3 stroke lead over McCray and McMahon.
A pretty unfortunate wind for our competitors on this hole. Kind of a head left to right wind from their perspective. They would prefer either a tailwind or a right to left to kind of help push this through the trees and around them to get up close to the basket. I mean, you never see top competitors take that straight shot. It's always a big hyzer around those trees. So you can tell that was a play that the wind forced on McBeth.
And Eagle didn't like the wind so much, he went to another course.
Went ahead and drove about 20 minutes outside of town to Opie Lake. That's crushed. Probably 180 feet in, maybe a little bit less for McMahon to card his birdie three. JohnE McCray, go ahead.
I was just going to say, sometimes, like with Eagles' power, it almost feels like he's playing an entirely different game out here.
That's right. That's right. Ironically, today he is.
Is that 4 different holes for each player on this hole? Hole 15?
It is.
Oh no, this is
No,
the same one.
Simon and McBeth are playing
Just
the
in a
same
different year.
Yes.
But Simon is stuck in the tree. Wow, and we are not playing the 2-meter rule. Is that correct?
No, never. Get it out of here.
And
Oh, well, that's a bit of a miss from McMahon from that range. I mean, he's still inside the circle, but he was in jump putt range and left himself about 20. Yeah, McBeth unable to convert from probably 60 or 70 feet.
Ricky hanging out, showing Simon where his disc is.
Hey, while you guys look for this disc, I'm just going to practice putt a little bit. What do you think?
It's the Ricky play along challenge.
And this is from long range for Simon, probably 90 feet.
Yeah, he'll also be settling for a par. So both him and McBeth going shot for shot, both taking the pars. We won't see a lead exchange here. Ray from just
Johnny
outside,
just
the,
outside
circle.
the circle.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah, easy. He makes so many of those step putts.
Even with a little bit of a miscue on the approach, McMahon's going to walk away with the birdie on the par 4. Meanwhile, we're going to see both Lizotte and Eagle and Conrad and McBeth and Ricky and Drew and everyone else that's playing along.
Yeah, that's going to bring McCray and McMahon back in striking distance here with McBeth 2 out in front, Lizotte just 1 behind, and then our 2 competitors tied for third, McCray and McMahon sitting at 6 under par. And now we're hole 16, the iconic island hole, one of my favorite holes that I've played anywhere. So doable, but so scary.
And if there's ever a time to make or break your round, it feels like this is the hole to do it. And Eagle
might as well
McMahon,
just stick it.
Wow, puts it on the island with the power hyzer. Is there only a handful of people that have that much power that can go that big and that high with that shot?
That's what I was just about to say. Like that isn't a shot. When you walk up to that tee, you don't look at it and you think, "Oh yeah, I'll just throw a spike hyzer." That shot isn't there. They just take superhuman power and make it a shot.
Yeah,
This
Eagle,
is the
Simon and Drew.
play. Yeah, this is the traditional straight shot from McBeth. Just short. That's kind of tradition as well. That happens a lot.
Yeah, McBeth throws in the water OB a lot, you're saying?
Yes. Yeah, that's how he won all the titles. Finding the water often. Oh, what a shot from Lizotte. Unbelievable.
JohnE McCray, after playing it safe, puts himself on the island, and I don't think you can ever be mad walking away from there with a 3.
No, not a chance. Because when you decide to go for it off the tee, you're basically saying I'm taking a 2 or a 4. There are rarely 3s if you go for it off the tee. McCray controlled his putter into the green beautifully. So walking away with a 3 is not going to feel bad there at all.
Birdie there by McMahon. We have such a tight battle here. We're watching everyone tap in. Lizotte goes to 8 under. McBeth is going to flip-flop with him. So Lizotte with the 1-stroke lead. But then McBeth and McMahon both sitting at 7 under. And JohnE McCray not dead in the water by any means. He sits 2 back with 2 to play. Anything can happen here in the remix.
Yeah, that's exactly right. On hole 17, one of the holes playing more difficult relative to par, depending on the pin position. To the straight position, not too difficult. It's relatively easy to navigate the trees and find yourself a good spot. But as we see from McMahon, if you turn it over just a bit too much, that fairway on the right can creep in really quickly. Back out to Opie Lake for Simon Lizotte's tee shot. 410 feet feels like most people should be able to drive it. I think this hole honestly plays closer to 460. It's a long shot. And Simon just put it probably around circle's edge there. Beautifully done.
And McCray flirts and finds the OB on that left side. Uh-oh, that might put an end to his charge as he's gone OB off the tee. And if Paul McBeth wants to keep the pressure on Lizotte, he's definitely going to need to put some move on this. And just 2 holes left to play. We'll see what he can do.
Yeah, if the
Doesn't look
wind is
good.
holding true. Yeah, if the wind's holding true from earlier, that should have been a little bit of a head/left to right wind for McBeth. So not ideal for that type of shot.
Our cameraman Chad running it down, seeing it was just OB.
Oh, no. McBeth and McCray finding themselves out of bounds. Uh-oh. Things are setting up pretty well for Simon Lizotte. We shall see, though. If there's anyone that's got a few magic tricks, or we'll say heroic tricks or shots left in their bag, I don't know if you could ask for anything more from a McCray, McMahon, McBeth, all of those guys. I feel like you can never count them out, and they're going to need to dig deep right now, just like McCray's doing. Yeah, he's continuing to dig for that magic. We'll see what he can pull out here.
Yeah, McCray starting from out of bounds. He's going to have to get both feet back established in bounds before throwing this shot. McCray, a veteran of the game, though, no doubt thought that through. Huge hyzer.
Oh, no.
Unfortunate skip forward. That's going to be OB long. You can count JohnE McCray out of the 2020 GBO remix run here.
We'll see if Paul can learn from the mistake we just saw by McCray. Wind pushing hard right to left, and wow, he finds himself in bounds.
After going OB on his drive, here's McMahon. Hyzer approach to the straight pin. Perfect. That's going to be an easy par.
And McBeth has some work to do to save his par. So best case scenario, McBeth remains 1 behind Lizotte if he can capitalize.
Oh,
Wow,
huge.
with the headwind.
Into the breeze. Come on, man.
You can tell he's feeling the pressure. Now it's all going to be up to Lizotte and how Lizotte can answer after we watch McCray putt from his OB shot.
Yeah, unfortunately for Johnny, he's only thrown 2 shots up to this point, but he's now throwing his 5th with penalty strokes. And he's in for bogey 5. Good conversion. That's going to keep him in a good cash spot.
Oh no, wow.
Lizotte from range
Simon
tosses it in.
trying to put the nail in the coffin.
Birdieing that hole is nuts. You just don't see it very often.
So Lizotte takes a 2-stroke lead going into the final hole. We watched so many struggles on 17, but not for Simon. And Simon's like, I love this course. I'm just going to finish out my round here.
Yep, throw my easy hyzer,
and
stick
it
to the island.
sits. Wow, and Simon Lizotte has put himself in a position for back-to-back remix titles.
That's right. Yeah, we don't have any fat ladies around to sing, but if there were, they would currently be singing. Because sticking that island, the deal is sealed.
McBeth.
Sorry about that, Terry. New pin position over to the right means that players are less likely to play up the normal golf fairway and cut over to the right. A lot of them have been throwing that chip forehand. That leaves them about 350 feet for their approach to the basket on the side hill.
And Eagle would need, well, both Eagle and McBeth, of course, just needing flat-out miracles here if they're going to want to have any shot at catching Lizotte.
Yeah, and playing to the long pin, that Eagle's just thrown an incredible shot. You couldn't ask for much better. McCray playing to the short pin, also in a great spot. Now he's got kind of a tricky approach here, no longer than 260 to 280 feet, but throwing something probably a little bit floaty that's going to have a green that runs away downhill to the water.
That looks like it should work for him. Maybe a little
Yeah, well
bit.
executed.
Yeah. Simon's going to need a throw in here. Oh. It's almost like the basket moved since McCray threw.
Yeah, McMahon nearly rings it up with just a soft forehand up the hill. If you never got to play hole 18 in the long position, I can't tell you how short that upshot was. You don't see that every day.
And McBeth put himself in great position. Wow. And the birdie may go down in vain as Simon Lizotte has found himself inside the circle on his 18th hole. So JohnE McCray is going to try and look to close out on a positive note. Of course, Johnny would come back and take a world title here in Emporia a few years ago.
Yep. Excellent putt on that elevated basket, water behind. Now, it feels like this putt would normally win a tournament for somebody like Eagle, but unfortunately he just ran up against a buzzsaw today.
Yeah, he is still pumped about his second place finish. And
Paul as well.
Yeah, and Paul is like, heck yeah, I just tied Eagle. You see the excitement.
There's Terry.
Yeah. I wanted to get the interview. And
yeah, but
Simon,
little do they know, Lizotte just locking it up on the 18th into the headwind, easy putt. Strangely, the crowd not as excited for Simon. Maybe not as much a crowd favorite as our other two competitors. Hard to say.
You know, I think it's about the energy that you bring, and you saw Eagle get excited. You saw McBeth super pumped after they put in, and Simon was just a little nonchalant, and I feel like the crowd kind of feeds off that.
Act like you've been there.
What they want. Yeah. Come on. That's acting like you've been there is for chumps. You celebrate every time. That way, the crowd celebrates with you every time.
Yeah, otherwise they're just confused. They're like, what are we even watching? And we're like, I don't know.
Make sure everyone reaches out to Simon tonight on his social media and congratulate him on his giant victory.
No, not tonight. Tomorrow. There's no spoilers. So we're going to wait for the post-production of this to release tomorrow. So no spoilers for Simon, anyone. You're going to do a smash cut?
He's the back-to-back remix champion, guys.
He is. So congratulations. Unfortunately, Simon has a long drive, so we're not able to catch up with him for the interview as he has to come back from Opie. But congratulations to Simon Lizotte. Man, he is on a heater this year. Back-to-back SmashBoxxTV Remix Open wins. What do you think we're going to see from him the rest of the year, Robert?
Man, it's hard to say. You know, when we were talking on the pro panel the other day, there's a couple of players that said they thought Simon was the most likely European player to win an MPO world title. A couple of them said, you know, he just kind of needs to stay out of his head and make sure that he executes on the shots with a skill that he has. Yeah, incredible potential from Lizotte if he can execute. I mean, the sky's the limit. He's one of the most talented disc golfers on the tour.
And what I'd like to do right now is give away our final gift certificate. So everyone in our chat boards, if you just want to type in 2X, just the number 2,
Simon, I was ready for it.
The letter X.
All right, type in 2X, and that will make you eligible for our giveaways here. As Simon Lizotte, wow, what a tremendous performance. And it's not like he just came out of nowhere. I mean, you you couldn't see what was going on, but Simon putting it all together. He got off to that hot start and was able to take things down.
He was very fortunate at the end to get those two Opie. He was smart playing the correct course, getting those easy birdies at the end, letting the other chumps play the tougher holes.
Yeah, it seems like a good play by him. Robert, what are some of the biggest things that you guys have learned over at Dynamic Disc? You guys put so much into every tournament. You guys put you have your disc, you have your team. I mean, there's so many things that are going on over at DD, but what do you guys feel like you've learned the most as we've been all working through this COVID pandemic here this year? What do you think you guys have learned as a company overall?
Sure. And it's hard to say for sure. Everything's been so different. So many of us have been working from home, and so I'd say if anything, we always take for granted our opportunities to spend time with people because we don't get to right now. And for the business, it's not too different because we have video calls and we have video meetings and we can see people and stuff like that. But once 5 o'clock comes or whenever the day is done for us, man, like I miss getting to, see my friends and go hang out and stuff. And so I would say one thing I'm excited to see when we kind of transition back to normalcy is how much more people are going to not take that for granted and spend time together. So business wise, I'm excited to get back to normal, especially excited for some disc golf shops to open so that, they can buy our discs and everyone can be happy about that. But personally, just so that we can, have the freedom to do what we want to do, not have to wear masks and stuff like that.
Yeah, and just the fact that we take so many, I don't want to just say take so many things for granted, but the camaraderie, the togetherness, the Frisbee family, as I like to say, all of those things have been so great and warm and embracing and maybe inviting. That makes our disc golf community so great. And when those things are kind of just pulled away from us for a short or an extended period of time, it really does hit home and make you think about how much you love just sitting around. And even, I'll say this, even the times when you get off the course after a tournament or a league round and you have that one friend that wants to tell you about every stupid shot that they threw and every single thing that didn't go right during that round, and you're like,
right,
I don't care about your round. You may even miss that right now.
I'd trade for it right now, 100%.
Yeah, like yeah, I know. Woulda, coulda, shoulda. If you would only birdied that hole instead of double bogeyed, yes, I know you would have been under par.
Then you'd be the two-time, but
yeah, exactly.
But no, it's not. I'd like to congratulate Daniel Elson on his win tonight. He gets a $15 gift certificate to Infinite Discs. Please reach out to us any which way you can on social media, Facebook, email if you have it. We'll find it. Just get a hold of us somehow, and we'll make sure you get that gift certificate card. Congratulations, Daniel Elson.
All right, and I have reached out. I know Simon's making his long drive from Opie back into the center of the city to get prepped for the trophy and the award ceremony and the virtual fly mart and all those other things. I've reached out. We might be able to check in with our champion. In fact, I've got him, so we'll see if things work out. But we might be able to even get him on the call here so we can talk to him about his performance today. I think it might be maybe he even is a little bit surprised about how well he played out on the course there today. So stay tuned. That's not an official lock, but we'll see if we can make that happen as we've just checked in with him. Robert, when do you think? And I know you're no more of a virologist or an expert than us two schmucks, but when do you think we're going to have those tournament rounds on a major level and see those again?
Man, it's hard to say. Obviously, we want to be back as soon as possible just because everyone wants to play. Everyone, this was great getting to watch different years, but I want to watch the guys now. I want to watch our competitors, our top males and top females dominating courses and coming up clutch in pressure situations. But I think we do need to be careful that we don't get out there and make things worse than they have to be. Right. So I know sanctioning is going to start up sometime I say I know. What we've heard from the PDGA is that sanctioning will likely start up sometime in the summer, and then major tournaments to come after that at some point. But at this point, who knows? I think it'd probably be wise for us to wait it out a little bit, as much as we want to get out there. But if we're a part of something that kind of starts tournament disc golf back up, and that's a problem, yeah, that's not very good for anybody. I think casual disc golf and tournament disc golf are almost entirely different things.
Mhm.
Because people can go out and play disc golf and throw in the field and practice putt right now and socially distance really well. That's something that you can't practically do at a disc golf tournament. And so having some extra caution around tournaments specifically, I think might be wise at this point.
Yeah, and I've talked about this a number of times, thinking about, for all the years all of us have been involved in disc golf, all we get excited about are big tournaments, big galleries, big crowds, 1,000+ people, 2,000 people at a tournament, economic impact, and all of those things that make this truly a big Frisbee family. And now we're saying, well, when we do a return, a lot of that might have to subside for a while, and we may have to, kind of slowly creep back into all of the things that we know and love. It just feels weird to think, when we see some of our big first tournaments of the year reemerge, we may not be allowed to have a gallery, and it might be just the players, a couple of camera people, and maybe a few caddies that are, already with those players. Of course, it feels like a little bit of a step backwards, and it's what's necessary, but it's kind of funny to think, hey, we need to limit some of the gallery.
Yeah, but I mean, at this point, I would take it. I'd watch live disc golf again right now, even if I couldn't do it in person.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
As they say, something is better than nothing.
Yep.
All right, Robert. Any parting shots? Any other things you want to share with us? Whether it's from Dynamic Discs or from city or town of Emporia, or anything else that you got for us?
I would just say we miss having you guys here. You two, we like you guys, but everybody, man, it's just been so brutal to think about. Today would have been a day of competition, a windy day, but still a day of competition. Wednesday would have been super windy. Yesterday was picture perfect. We would have seen some people go low yesterday. And so it just sucks. It hurts to not be able to do the thing that we take a full year to plan on in exactly the way that we wanted to. But we're excited to be able to do as much as we can and try and bring the experience that we're able to bring to you guys. And so to everyone who's participated in virtual GBO stuff up to this point, we greatly appreciate that. If you want to check out our YouTube videos, our Facebook live streams, we'd appreciate that as well. If you want to see Bobby nearly die eating a hot wing, that video is available to you. You can do that.
It's what I've always asked for. I've always dreamt of it, and you guys made it happen. So
it was really fun.
I appreciate that.
For sure. Guys, it's been a pleasure. I've really enjoyed hanging out with you today.
Oh, thanks for joining us, Robert. It was a lot of fun.
All right. Well, Robert, I think we're going to cut you loose here in just a moment. It looks like our champion is getting closer to town, and we might be able to have him join us. He seems elated, so I think we're going to hear from Simon in just a few moments, so everyone stay tuned. But Robert, again, appreciate you joining us here today. Thank you. I love being in the booth. I love calling shots with you, as random as the rounds may get from time to time.
I love whispering in both of your ears when I can.
I missed it, man. The soothing sounds of JVD in my ears.
Yes, well, we can't thank you enough, and for all the hard work that you and the entire DD staff and crew and the entire Trilogy family, as I know you guys have so many supporters and all the brands and all the manufacturers that support the event with the sponsors and the town. It's just in the city, it's just been incredible, and I know we're all missing it, but this will hopefully all make us appreciate each other that much more for next year and beyond. So thanks for joining us.
I agree. We can't wait to have you guys back. Hopefully 2021 and then Worlds, and yeah, it's going to happen. We're excited for it. When the time comes, we will be excited to welcome everyone back with open arms.
All right, pal. Again, thank you. We'll talk to you soon. Well, let's exchange a little podcast time. We'd love to have you guys, you and Bobby and the rest of the crew, join us over on Smashbox on a Tuesday night here soon, and we'll connect a little bit more.
I'm in. Sounds good, guys. Good to see you.
All right,
Thanks.
take care.
Have a good day.
All right. Robert McCall, thank you for helping call the shots here. And yes, it looks like in just a few moments we may have our champion joining us on the line. We're going to reach out to him and see if he's ready to go here in just a few moments. Johnny V's
just double checking all of our settings. We
working on a few
always
details
change
with him.
A little bit of stuff here.
And I do want to thank anyone that participated in the super chat today, along with anyone that was participating in all of the free giveaways. We're going to see if we can get our champion Simon here on the line in just a moment, and maybe get some thoughts of what he has after such a tremendous battle and effort out there today. We're trying to dial him up. Let me send one more quick message to him. And looks like he's maybe just getting his bag put away right now. We'll see if we can get him on the line in just a moment. And if you guys are interested, as many of you know, we've been doing game nights on Thursday night. You guys can join us for that, and Tuesday night podcasts are still happening. But it looks like he's made his way in. He managed to stop. That was the extra little delay. He came all the way from Opie, where he finished birdie on holes 17 and 18, and now joining us is our two-time champion, Simon Lizotte. Simon, what a battle!
I feel bad that I didn't even watch it. I was outside shooting a new vlog, so I must have missed it. But
no, you made the last two birdies.
So.
What do you mean?
Yeah,
you didn't miss anything.
You birdied the last two holes. What are you talking about? I mean, that was phenomenal.
Such a great start. You birdied 4 out of the first 5 holes, and then we saw you kind of stall in the middle, and then
Paul made a comeback to catch you, and actually he was up by stroke on you in the middle of the round. But
yeah, what were you thinking when Paul caught you, and then it went birdie bogey, and all of a sudden you had Paul by 1, then Paul had you. What was going through your mind at that time?
The older I get, the wiser I get, and the less pressure affects me. So I was just in the zone. I know throughout the years at GBO, if you take my 1 or 2 bad holes out of there, then I basically win every time. So I was confident.
You certainly were, and it was a great battle. JohnE McCray had a little bit of a slow start, as we saw. Of course, Eagle finally got things put together there at the end, and they were all charging, but hole 17 was really the difference maker. I mean, McCray went out of bounds, McBeth went out of bounds, McMahon went out of bounds. You were ready to close things out, weren't you?
So I need to change my Instagram status to 2-time champion now.
You do.
Wow.
You're on a heater. You're currently leading the Remix Tour. You are the highest rated player in the Remix Tour. I think 1,180 according to our new Remix ratings.
Yes. Yes, we have a new rating system.
Yep.
So pretty impressive performance out there. What is it about this year? It just seems like you've been really dialed these last few weeks.
Yeah,
Would you say it's the 5 guys, or what's been your secret?
The secret has been finding myself at home. And just going deep inside and realizing what I want from life, and just maturing in general. I think that all that comes together, and man, I have to go back and watch this.
Yeah, it's like you want to relive it yet again. I mean, just coming off the course, it's almost unbelievable. At some points, I'm not sure if you even knew where you were, but you seem to really put it together at the end.
That's what I usually do. Straight off the course, straight off the W, just go straight to my phone and rewatch it instantly.
Well, again,
and you had a great strategy on hole 17 and 18. While the other groups were playing at Country Club, you chose the Opie holes. So 17 and 18, both relatively easy birdies. You played the courses better than the other guys.
Oh, it was multiple courses now too.
Yeah,
I remember.
Yeah,
sweet.
You do.
I mean, that's just strategy right there.
Simon, something tells me that with this maturity, it almost feels like maybe you're a little more in the zone and you don't even realize just how focused you are, and it's like the courses don't even matter.
Yeah, I think this is a great wake-up call for my future tournaments. All I got to do is mentally put myself in different years and be like, I just have it be 2015 now, and then just imagine that, visualize it, and then just come through and execute the shots. Because yeah, I know I've birdied all the holes in different years, so just put them together,
That's right.
and yeah, not much luck needed, only little.
Yeah, any shout outs, say, to like a random.org, or did you feel like anyone else supported you during this triumphant run?
Thank you to the super hardworking camera crews out there each and every year filming me for probably reasons of luck of the draw.
All right, Simon. Any sponsors you want to thank here on the Remix Tour? And with another victory, you are undefeated here in 2020 on the Remix Tour. Anyone you need to thank?
Yeah, of course. I've managed to stick around with the same sponsors for the last 6 years, basically. So Grip Equipment, always supporting, and we have some new things coming. Of course, Discmania is the one and only for me for now. And thank you guys.
Absolutely. Well, so glad to catch you right off of the win. It feels like you're still trying to. You're even a little bit in disbelief yourself. But thank you for joining us to get the post-round interview.
I really love the way you handled 18. Well, Eagle celebrated 18 like he had just won. Paul celebrated 18 like he had just won. You calmly put in on 18 and just walked off like it was no big deal.
Yeah, it's part of collecting your thoughts.
Yeah, I got that from all the trick shots. You got to act like it was first take, and you got to act like you can do it any other time again.
Yeah, all day. Too easy for you. All right, Simon, thank you for joining us. Congratulations. Go enjoy your victory. Five Guys shake there. What flavor?
Chocolate shake.
Chocolate
the best.
shake. We love it. Congratulations again, and maybe we'll check in with you on a Tuesday night. Another big win. It's like you just can't be denied here in the Remix Tour. Congratulations.
Man, guys, I'm excited to watch it. Thanks for all the work and time and effort you guys put in, and like and subscribe. See you next time.
All right, see you,
Thanks
buddy.
a lot, Simon.
All right. Our champion, two-time champion. It's like Simon can't lose here in 2020.
You know, when you're hot, you're hot. He just better hope that if we have to do a Remix Worlds, you know, we're going to see if the pressure can really.
Incredible. All right, Johnny, do we have anything else that we need to share with everyone or let them know about out here?
I don't believe so. I think we've kind of handled most everything we've had tonight. That obviously, thanks to Robert for joining us to do the commentary. I'm looking forward to catching some of the Fly Mart tomorrow. I want to see the format and how it's handled, and it's going to be a long day. So if you're interested in picking up some plastic, go ahead and check that out.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know if it's fortunate or unfortunate that might be a new method. It's great that we're experiencing the innovative and creative ways that we can continue to communicate and to support one another. It's just terrible that we're being forced to do it. But yeah, we certainly encourage everyone to go out and support. Check out glassblownopen.com. I want to thank Dynamic Disc. And I should have said it with Robert here. I'll speak for Johnny and myself in that Dee Dee and Bobby Brown and Jeremy Rusko specifically have put so much faith and tremendous amount of support in us as a company at SmashBoxxTV and in myself and Johnny and the crews that we've brought throughout the years. And we know they believe in media and are industry leaders in what they're constantly putting out from a media perspective. But we just can't say it enough how much we support or thank them for the support they've given us. And that's all we can really say about it. We thank you so much. They've had us there more than any other tournament throughout all of these years to provide our live services. And they got on board very early and have supported us for so many years. So huge shout out and thanks to Dynamic, not just for being a great company, but for also supporting so many others, including their players and other manufacturers. So we're going to close it out. This has been stop number 2 of the 2020 SmashBoxxTV Remix Tour. We're glad that you guys could join us play along with a little bit of fun here, the best we can on a Friday afternoon during the COVID-19 pandemic. Congratulations again to Simon Lizotte. Thank you to Eagle McMahon, JohnE McCray, Paul McBeth. It was a great battle, but unfortunately, Simon just can't be denied. For Johnny V, Terry Miller, the Disc Golf Guy, and Robert McCall coming in from Emporia and the rest of the DD crew, we'll see you on Tuesday night when you join us for our regularly scheduled podcast and you step inside the Smashbox.